Alright guys, well, yeah, and sorry. But anyway, hey guys, welcome to my debut of the early film project. I hope this channel is very successful, even though it's probably going to take a really, really long time for us to get through it. But yeah, I hope we all stay. I hope it's really fun. I'm probably going to have a fun time, and yeah, anyway, let's just get to the year. 2009, that was a really good year for movies, kind of. I quit my original movie reviewing account on YouTube, and that was also the year I started my new one, which I'm still doing right now. The last one for my original account was Star Trek, and then I kind of, got a little bit more into puberty, and then reviewed Brothers, and yeah. I remember back then thinking of, like, how it was, like, a kind of a disappointing year, but that was only because it came out right next to 2008, sorry. That was only because it came out right next to 2008, which is one of the greatest years of all time. But by itself, 2009 was actually a really, really great year. My favorite movie of the year was The Hurt Locker, which also won Best Picture that year. You know, one of the greatest war films of all time. It was just so different from, like, the manly type guy kind of war movies. And it was really refreshing, and also just, it was really great because the big, great veteran actors had small roles and they're all fantastic, but the main characters were just so great, especially Jeremy Renner, who was nominated for an Oscar, and he's really getting up there and one of my favorite modern day actors because he's just fantastic. Also, there was that whole thing about, James Cameron was also nominated for Best Director, along with Catherine Bigelow, and they used to go out and stuff, and so, I mean, that, obviously, Avatar was nominated for two things. One, because it was groundbreaking with the visuals. I don't think it deserved to be nominated for Best Picture, but also because they were exes, we all know that. But Avatar did, I remember when Avatar came out, because when Avatar came out, everybody loved it. Everybody who saw it loved it, and it was getting so much hype. Now, when you look back at Avatar, it's impossible to mention Avatar and the other person to say, oh yeah, that overrated piece of crap. And it's kind of annoying when people do that, because Avatar was just groundbreaking in visuals. I mean, you gotta realize that when it came out, it wasn't a great story or anything. It wasn't a fantastic movie. It was just groundbreaking, and I don't even think anybody thinks it ever had a great, fantastic story or great. The hype was there because of how groundbreaking and with the visuals were. I mean, and the box office too. How much money it made was just completely out of this world, and that's why it was such a big thing. At the Oscars, even though there weren't that many surprises, I was pretty happy with all the winners, like Christoph Waltz and Inglourious Basterds. That was just so fantastic, one of the best performances of this decade. Speaking of Inglourious Basterds, that was definitely one of my favorite movies of that year, because one of Quentin Tarantino's best, actually. It was just such a great movie, fantastic dialogue, and all the performances, especially by Christoph Waltz, were just fantastic. I love that movie to death. Crazy Heart was also one of my favorite movies of the year. Jeff Bridges was absolutely phenomenal. I really sympathized with him, and that was just a great character study, and it really did a good job of showing you where smoking and alcohol can really bring you, the effects of it, and especially when you're older in age. The Blind Side wasn't, anything spectacular, but I definitely thought it was really entertaining. It's surprising. Usually I don't love sports movies, but this wasn't really a sports movie. I just thought it was, it was great and really entertaining. Sandra Bullock did do great in it. I think maybe Gabourey Sidibe, I think she was nominated for Best Actress. I think maybe she did a little bit better than Sandra Bullock. I think I would give the award to her. But it's alright, because Monique also got an award for Precious. Just so intriguing, and just, God, that was painful to sit through. But it still was the Monique's performance, and everyone else's were just awesome. Of course, Up in the Air, I remember that was at first my favorite movie of the year. Of course, the dialogue in that, the screen play and everything in that movie was fantastic. George, and all the performances, all of the main four, I think it was main four. But also, 500 Days of Summer was a similar one where just the acting was awesome, and the script that was just so great. That's the best romantic comedy I think I've ever seen, because I'm definitely not a romantic comedy person, but 500 Days of Summer was really was different for me. It was no silly humor at all. All the humor was really real, and I love the hell out of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Also, District 9 was my choice for the best sci-fi movie of that year, closely followed up by Star Trek, but District 9 was just totally original, and just the special effects in the story were just paced so great. Like I said, Star Trek, I thought that was just the best J.J. Abrams could do with that remake or reboot or whatever the fuck it was. Star Trek fans were extremely happy with that, and I can see why. Of course, Invictus had, great performances, great Clint Eastwood movie. Also, The Hangover, which was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It sucks that it got so popular because I think people just overdid the jokes, and when I watch it now, it's not nearly as funny as when I first saw it. But I remember when it wasn't so popular, and I saw it not expecting anything, and just how fucking funny that was. I was lucky because I saw it so early, not hearing how funny it was, and I didn't really hear any reviews at all except for Roger Ebert, who gave it 3.5 stars. I'm like, holy shit! But yeah, that really took me by surprise. I gotta get a haircut, dude. Shit. I also gotta eat this quickly. I also really liked Adventureland. I saw that right before the fucking terrible Observer Report, but I liked Adventureland too. I thought that was pretty underrated. And also, I would say the best animated movie that came out in 2009 was actually Coraline. I like that better than Up. Up was good, except it just the story and everything, I think kind of lacked what Pixar usually brings. Kind of reminded me of Cars, even though I liked Up better than Cars. It was good, but there was just there's two, the flying dogs and stuff, and the planes. Just that kind of was like, okay, you're going into Dreamscape territory now. I mean, you're kind of going into DreamWorks territory now. I'm like, come on. But were some really great moments, and the first 10 minutes that everyone talks about, those were really great. So also, I already said my favorite comedy of the year was The Hangover, but the movie I can just watch anytime actually, and I'd most want to watch again, like right this moment, is definitely I Love You Man. That was a very, very, very underrated. I Love You, and Funny People too. Funny People came out that year. Both those movies were extremely underrated. I Love You Man is something that you could just watch over and over again, never get bored of. I mean, it's not hysterical, but you never get bored of it. And Funny People, it was really funny at times, but I just was so entertained. That was a long movie too, but when I was in the theater, I was never bored from that movie. I loved the hell out of it. The first Adam Sandler movie in a while that I actually like, and I'm actually impressed. Stick to that shit, Adam Sandler. Drop this fucking douchebag Dennis Dugan. Come on. Taken was also good, and also another extremely underrated movie. Probably a lot of you disagree with me, but Watchmen. I know, well, even a lot of comic book junkies don't even like the movie Watchmen all that much. But I did read the comic before I saw the movie, and I just loved it. I don't. The only reasonable complaints I've ever heard of anyone that loved the comic was the fact that they took some elements out of, like, the fact that the characters in Watchmen were psychopaths. There were little hints in the book that, that implied that they were psychopaths. But besides that, I don't know why anyone was complaining. It was the comic book put to the screen, and I think it just played out so greatly. Zack Snyder, I'm a fan of him. I didn't love Sucker Punch. I didn't love 300. But I thought he just did excellent with Watchmen, and it was everything. It was exactly like the comic book. There was not one thing in the movie that was different from the comic book, and anything that was in the comic book that was put on the screen exactly the same, and it just worked so well, I thought. Also, the soundtrack, it just totally worked. The soundtrack is great, and the scenes that each song is in, it works so good, in my opinion. And yeah, that's basically my review of the year 2009. Thanks for watching. Thanks. That was my yearly film project debut. I'll try to edit this tonight, and I'll see you later. I'm currently editing 3 different videos also, but this one comes first, and you'll be seeing this one before any of my other 3 videos. I also, one of them I'm probably going to drop because it was a 9/11 video, and, I was too lazy to do it on 9/11, but yeah, I'll see you.